Well, hello everybody. Once again, we are at it with HWH Season 12. And I will say that the good old cold has started to settle in. So it does seem that I'm probably going to have to end the season as soon as I can. I will apologize in advance if not many episodes have come around. Though I will say, throughout 2024, even up until this point in November, we've definitely had a long run and a lot of episodes to work with across 3 different seasons. But, like many things, they supposedly will have to come to an end. And I'm sure that I will continue with another season for next year, but maybe not a whole lot more after that. But hey, you know what? What matters now is that we got 28 cars here, as well as the Jurassic World Blues Raptor Rush Racerverse playset, which I actually just got a hold of at Walmart recently. This is basically a 2-lane raceway that is supposed to come together with only one of 2 cars entering from this 2-lane starting point, going through the ramps, avoiding the mosasaur down here, coming up into this upper compartment, and riding down along the monorail, like so. Normally it'll roll onto here, engage a drive wheel. Oh, there we go. I guess I had to press on the ramp instead of the arrow. And that's basically what happens. It comes from up here, and the car will ride down the rail to the finish line, which for some reason doesn't even have flags equipped. It's just this stale gray piece at the very end. Yeah, not very exciting at this point. You wish that for a finish line it could have a checkered flag or something, but apparently not in this instance. So, yeah. Then again, we do have ourselves a sticker sheet in which it does contain checkered flags. I don't know why it needs to be a sticker nowadays, but I guess it is what it is. I'm not really going to put stickers on this thing just because this is a set that's probably going to retain a lot of value in the future. So as with the case with almost every other competition that I've had that involves single elimination challenge type of formatting, well, the thing is that we're going to start off with 2 cars and wiggle down until we got ourselves 14 cars out of 28. Then wiggle the 14 down to 7. Then the 7 down to hopefully 1. We'll just have to see how it all works out here. First off, we're going to start with the 2 that were included in this set. We have Owen Grady and Blue, the Velociraptor. And so, let's go ahead and move that back up into position. Here we go. Alright, nicely done. So, Blue basically gets to stick around here, while unfortunately Owen does not. So, yeah, I have a box sitting nearby where I'll pretty much discard the losers. So let's go ahead and move on to our next 2 contenders. We have HW Ford Track and the 87 Ford Cosworth. Well, the Cosworth didn't quite do it, but Ford Track did. Just barely, though. So now we're going to move on to the Lotus Elise 340R and Volkswagen ID Buzz. Wow. Yeah. I guess we'll count that since he did make it up there. Yeah. That's pretty much just going to have to do. Didn't quite make it fall down to the bottom. Whatever. Now I have the custom 2018 Mustang GT, as well as Crescendo. And there you go. Mustang falls into the mouth of the mosasaur, while Crescendo gets to move on to the next round. This brings us to Road Cannibal and Way Too Fast, competing for the next pole position. Alright, Road Cannibal does it. Yeah. Way too fast, unfortunately. Doesn't do so good. How about Ultra Rage and Mini Truck? Let's just see how well these two handle this track. Okay, neither made it. And again, didn't make it here. Okay, well, yeah. Didn't quite trigger at that time, much like with the Lotus, but Ultra Rage gets to move on though. That's as close enough as we can get to a victory anyways. Now we have Nerve Hammer and Flathead Fury. Who's going to make it to the end? Well, time to find out. Oh, okay. Yeah. This basically is just going to count from here. Sorry, Flathead Fury. Now the Ford Performance Supervan and Astro Funk are both going to be competing to see who wins this round. Whoa! Okay, that doesn't necessarily count. Since they both didn't go through, just as they should have. Alright, Ford Performance gets to move on. Wow, Astro Funk, nice classic, but didn't do so well here. Now I got a Subaru STI and a Cruise Bruiser. Both great models that I've collected. But only one can surpass the other. Neither made it. Well, Cruise Bruiser almost had it. And now the Subaru takes the win. Wow. I was figuring Cruise Bruiser would do it. I guess not, though. This brings us to our next pairing, Cadillac El Mirage and Punk Rod. Realistic and fantasy. I wonder who's going to do it. Well, okay. I guess Punk Rod gets to move on here. Now I got Roadster Bites and another Cadillac, the Cadillac GTP Hypercar. Well, sorry for the Cadillac. Guess it didn't make it this time. Got 6 more cars to go here. Next pairing is Horseplay and the Gazella GT. Both great models with some nice color schemes. But how did they do here? Okay, the Gazella makes it through. Horseplay, not so much. 4 more to go. We got Passengasser and Maximum Leeway. Well, let's try again. Twice they failed. And Again, they failed here. I guess one more and it's going to be a total disqualification. Oh, well. Looks like we have Pass and Gasser taking it. Even though it didn't slide all the way down to the bottom, we're going to count that as a win anyways. The main thing after all is getting up here. The sliding is just for the added effect. And the last pairing is going to be the Ravager ST and the Nash. Both are also great models that we got in more recent years. Well, okay, well, Nash fell out, but you know what? That's going to count. And with that, we got our 14 here for today's competition. I'm more than glad that we got this far with all these nice colors and all these nice models all put together, old and new. We'll just have to see how the next round holds up when all 14 of these guys battle together for the next round. And here we go. We have round 2 of this competition all coming up, hopefully to a perfect ending. Crescendo and the Ford Performance Supervan are going to be taking their marks, and we're ready to go. Well, yeah, you pretty much get the idea. Anybody who makes it up here is kind of already at the winner's point. This whole ziplining thing that goes to the bottom seems more optional than you might imagine. So with that, we have Gazella GT making the mark. So sorry for the Performance Supervan. At least it made it this far. Now we got Punk Rod and Roadster Bites going up next. There you go. Not a very smooth victory, but Punk Rod makes the mark. Just like that. We're expecting to have 7 here in total once we're done with the round. Anyways, 4-track and the Lotus are up next. Oh, they just barely got there, but still fell. And again, oh, well, that's a tie. You know what? We'll let them both pass. Since they tied, technically. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again, but we'll just see how it works. I feel like this has never really happened before. Or maybe it did at some point in the show. The Nash and Road Cannibal, however, are going to be competing next. Well, what do you know? Looks like they both managed to make it as well. I get the feeling that by the time this is all over, who knows how many are actually going to move on to the next round. So, let's go ahead with Nerve Hammer and the Subaru STI. Nice, Nerve Hammer makes it through. Now I have Ultra Rage and Blue. Well, looks like we almost have another tie, but unfortunately, Blue didn't get in. Unlike Ultra Rage, who did? So, this leaves us with 2 more racers, and that's Pass and Gasser and Crescendo. Well, and there you go. We got Crescendo solidifying the gap with 9 racers instead of just 7. So, I pretty much suppose that what we're going to do here is have our models oriented so that way we have an effective battle system which will allow for each model to make their way to the final round. And when the finals do show up, what's going to happen here is that we're going to have to wiggle it down so that way only 2 racers remain. And I feel like the best way to put this all together is to, well, simply put, see who can, first of all, get ourselves a good old 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 racers here. While we do have this many racers to work with, it does seem fair that we're going to have to, in fact, wiggle it on down until we have an even number of racers again. And we're going to get started with Punk Rod and Road Cannibal. And let's just see if we can at least get an even number back up. Well, okay. Punk Rod manages to get up there. Road Cannibal doesn't. And I guess just for the sake of it, we'll have Nerve Hammer go up against Punk Rod and see if we can wiggle it back down to an even number. And okay, well, I guess Punk Rod is out. He did technically get up there, but didn't quite ride down along with Nerve Hammer. So since he got farther, we'll just simply move him up. Next, we're going to have HW4 Track and Crescendo. Oh, well, that could have been a tie. Unfortunately, Crescendo fell out, while HW4 Track slid all the way down. I know it might seem out of order here to have HW4 Track slide, even though I've already established this is the true winning point. The thing is, though, Crescendo fell out during the ride down, so that's kind of what offsets the idea of using this as the starting point, whereas this is just the bonus. Either way you look at it, though, we got 2 cars over here, and we also got 2 more pairings to go. So the Nash and Ultra Rage are going to be up next. Well, okay, so that's basically another tie that we have between the two. They'll just stay to the side here while we have the Lotus, Elise, and Crescendo. Maybe if we'll get another tie, we can wiggle it back down to 3 cars. Well, talk about some insane luck there. So with 6 cars that we have here, what I'm going to do is rearrange them. That way, we get all new pairings to work with. We'll get started with Crescendo and HW4 Track, so that way, hopefully we can wiggle it down till we have only 2 racers left. Well, there you go. That's one way to knock out 4 Track, and one way for Crescendo to take the win here. Now keep in mind, I'm going to pair up 1 car with this, and they'll both compete until we have a knockout or a move on. So Nerve Hammer and Ultra Rage are going to follow up. Well, okay. That pretty much does it. But first, let's go with the other pairing, the Nash and the Elise 340R. Well, goodbye Lotus. And the Nash seems like a little underdog here at this point. He'll stay around here while Crescendo and Ultra Rage settle the differences between who moves on and who doesn't. Who's it gonna be? Well, I guess that doesn't count, since they both fell off. Okay, Ultra Rage is out of here. And with that in mind, what we're going to do here is we're going to rate it best of 3. Whoever gets 3 wins up here or down there even is the ultimate winner for today's competition. So, let's do it. Well, 0 for both. Nash gets 1. Crescendo still at 0. Crescendo ties it up at 1-1. And Crescendo has another point. Yeah, they both end up on the floor. But still, Crescendo gets 1 more point, and he wins. Oh, well, I mean, Nash got another point there, but Crescendo also did, making Crescendo the winner of today's competition. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this piece here, and this set. I'm glad I'm through with this one. It was a pretty nice breeze to play through, though. Maybe I'll have it one other time later on in the series. Otherwise, take care, everybody. Crescendo can get going. A happy winner. While I get to basically tear this thing down and have it repackaged.
Welcome to South Dakota, here in early July. Tucked away in the Black Hills on an especially starry night. A concrete green brontosaurus has a subtle glint